So on last week's episode, I feel like I was pretty confident that this wasn't going to be that big of a deal, and it's been 2 weeks, and oh boy, has it turned into a big ass motherfucking deal. I've internalized all the takes. Okay, I have them all.
You've got all of the Russia-Ukraine takes.
All the takes. I don't know anything. Takes. I don't know. Just to be very clear, I don't know anything. I know nothing. I am neither Russian nor Ukrainian. I still say the United States should stay the fuck out of whatever is going on over there. I will never stop saying that. That is still true, even if we are getting more involved. I don't know how much more involved we are getting. We are definitely selling weapons to Ukraine. Everybody's totally cool with that. I don't know why. I like a lot of Russian things. Like, the fucking Russian literature is fantastic. Mm-hmm. They make great vodka. Mm-hmm. Some of their architecture is pretty cool.
They have cool accents.
Yeah, they have cool accents. The language sounds cool, even if it looks like it's European language, only just backwards. Like, that's the thing that, like,
Russian, it looks like German written backwards or something.
Yeah, or English written backwards. Yeah. It's like, there's letters in there, but they're all backwards and upside down or whatever. And so it's like if you put it in a mirror, it'd be in English, which would be cool. I feel like somebody should try that. But so and apparently, and this is my favorite of all of the things.
Okay.
Apparently, we are rearming Germany, and, and Germans have started posting a meme that has gotten translated to English, and now it's getting posted everywhere. I've seen it everywhere, and it's the best. And the meme basically says, so let me get this straight. You want Germany to build up an army, march through Poland, and then fight the Russians. Just so we're clear, just so that nobody afterwards says that that's not what you told us to do. I'm putting it here, right? Like I'm writing it down here now. Mm-hmm. This is what you want us to do. March through Poland, fight the Russians. Okay, just so we know. And I gotta say, as one, I can't remember. So somebody said this, and I don't remember who. And I'm going to be robbing takes this whole time. So just if you said one of these, you hear this, then just know solidarity with you. But somebody said, I'm not real crazy about Germany having an army again.
Well, no, I mean, that's basically how Germany lost World War II, was trying to plunge their way into Russia.
Yeah,
they killed a lot of Russians in the process, but we all know how.
Whatever happens and I want to make this very, very, very clear. Whatever the fuck happens over there, the only people that are losing are the Ukrainian people and the Russian people.
Right.
The regular ass people, not the whatever. All the weapons manufacturers are making a killing. All the oligarchs will be fine. All the fucking, whatever, everyone that's rich and white and they'll be fine. But the sanctions on Russia are insane.
Yeah.
Google,
they keep adding new stuff every day. Like, companies and banks and stuff are now
Google, Apple, fucking the nation of Japan, all payment processors, they devalued the currency, they've shut down all the banks. It's like, and with this fucking absolutely childish notion that, well, if and this is a thing that I've heard from all fucking sides, and I cannot believe that anybody is saying this, right? Well, if the Russian people want to fucking get rid of those sanctions, well, then they better topple Putin. Oh, okay. Well, fucking good luck. Jesus Christ. That's like saying that if America wanted the Iraqi invasion to stop, then we should have just shot Bush, which I'd be fine with, but it would have been really hard.
That wouldn't have stopped anything. Then Cheney would have been president.
Well, yeah, and whatever. And if you wanted to,
probably the same if you took out Putin. There would be some other billionaire would take his place.
No, fucking guess what you'd have to do in order to do that? You'd have to 9/11 them. You would have to fucking blow up the White House and the Capitol and you'd have to decapitate the power structure. Good luck doing that with your fucking just regular weapons, or in Russia's case, no weapons at all, right? With your fucking protests that you're getting your asses kicked every day, right? Like, good luck to that, right? And in the meantime, starve, right? Like, fuck you. That's ridiculous. And so there's
not good for
and
anybody.
that's what's so fucking weird about this whole Ukrainian resistance thing. This is another take. I don't necessarily subscribe to all the takes, right? I have my own esoteric take that is just the amalgamation of all these other takes, right?
Okay, well, let's just stick to the other takes for now.
Okay, so Russia invades Ukraine the fucking day after we post the goddamn fucking podcast. Of course that is the case. And so everyone's like, first it's an argument amongst like leftists and communists and stuff because we all love Russia because of Lenin and stuff, because of the USSR and shit. And then but we all have been, everyone who clung to their last little bit of like, oh, Russia is good, has been reminded that, oh yeah, like Putin's a kleptocratic lunatic fucking guy who's just hiding his own billions in other billionaires' billions, right? Like he's like an arch capitalist dictator guy.
Well, like, some people say he's the richest man in the world.
Well, yeah, because because who's to say, right? Like who?
Well, yeah, it's not, his assets are not easily.
And he fucking is not the richest man in the world anymore.
Especially if it was all in rubles. It's all.
Well, no, I mean, doesn't matter anymore. It's all frozen. Any assets that are outside of Russia are gone. They're frozen. They're gone.
Right.
This leads me to
then the assets within Russia are all probably in rubles because what else?
And they're all stuck in Russia. Like you can't. It's like, okay, congratulations. Now you can go buy the food that no one is like trading with you.
I mean, I guess he owns a bunch of land and shit in Russia, probably, or whatever. But that's
he doesn't leave his room. That's okay. So the first part of this was that, okay, so Putin's lost his mind. Let's explore that for a little while. Okay, well, why has Putin lost his mind? Well, because there's 40 million Ukrainians, and while Russia is certainly going to beat them, it's Russia. They're 5 times the country that they have. If we learn anything about Russia forever, right, is that they have the bodies, the just raw bodies to throw at anything until it stops. Right? You learn that from the Nazis and from whatever, the Ukrainian Nazis and all this weird internal shit that was going on in Ukraine since like 2014 that I totally forgot about, because who cares about 2014 and who cares about any of that stuff?
Seems like forever ago.
Yeah, well, and I found a status that I posted on this day in 2014 that was like, all this stuff going on in Ukraine, and if George W. Bush was president, then he would have invaded New Zealand by now. Like, as like a little, but it was like that. So it was right now, fucking 8 years ago that shit started popping off in Ukraine, right? And all that has to do with a whole bunch of stuff that, fuck Ukraine, I don't care. Right? I'm an American. I'm looking at this as a purely strategic, how are we not going to go? How are we going to avoid nuclear war? And how are we going to avoid America getting involved? Because if there's 2 things that I know, is that America getting involved makes it more dangerous, and nukes make it more dangerous. And both of those things are in play, it seems like now. Okay, so Putin's lost his mind. Absolutely, he's lost his mind. He's been COVID fucking scared for the last like 2 years and completely isolated. If you see that picture of him where he's like meeting with his other like ministers at the end of the longest table in the world, like he's nuts. He's crazy, and he's getting older, so he's like thinking about place in Russian history, and he's comparing himself to like Ivan the Terrible and like Vlad the Impaler or whatever the fuck. And so
all right, any of your takes that you've absorbed here, do any of them have a rational theory, a theory of rationality for Putin?
Yes,
because I feel like that's Occam's razor says
but see, because the rational theory is stupid. Okay, like the irrational theory is the most probable one, because the rational theory is dumb. It's fucking it's dumb, and it's fucking
what have you heard? What have you heard?
Well, okay, so Kiev or whatever the fuck it's called now, it was part of Russia. Okay, all of Ukraine was part of Russia. Before it was part of the USSR, it was part of Russia, right? Okay. And so Putin has this idea that he's restoring Russia to its former greatness by bringing all these former Soviet republics / former Russia back into Russia. Mm-hmm. And Ukraine is the real prize, because that's the one that's the closest with the West. That's the one that has the fucking Crimea that they already took and nobody cares about. And so, whatever. So like they're doing it with Belarus and Ukraine, and Belarus is just like, fine, whatever, that's great. We'll be part of you guys. That's fine. And Ukraine is resisting. Now, why is Ukraine resisting? Out of some fucking dumb ass nationalistic who cares thing, where I would say, if I was fucking Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, I would say, hey, you know what? What do I have to do to not get all the buildings blown up in every fucking city in the country that I am the president of, right? What is the thing that I would have to do? So Putin logic is that so he's going to take back all these places,
right?
And Ukraine was supposed to be the start of it, and it was supposed to be quick, right? He was supposed to just go in there, fucking bomb the shit out of a couple of strategic places, and then be like, do you want to hand the keys over now? And the Ukrainians are like, no, and like, you know, good on them for, like, you know, if the country of Ukraine is like down with this, right? If you took a fucking poll of everybody that's in a bomb shelter right now, or everybody that's fucking fighting or whatever, if you took a poll from all of them and they're like, yeah, no, fuck this asshole, we're gonna do this, right? Then fine, right? Then I got no problem with you, right? But I think that that's misguided, because you're a much smaller country, and if we know anything, it's that Russia has a fucking meat grinder, right? And they're ruthless. They're absolutely ruthless, right? True. But you know who's fucking egging on the Ukrainians to do their thing, to fucking go up against Russia? One of the big threes: America, American media, fucking all of Western Europe. Like, it's like we're egging them on, and it's because anything like that, including a bunch of shit that I've said, is anti-America. And I want to make that very clear. I am not pro anybody else. I am anti-America. Right. America is stupid. America is bad. America is bad at being stupid. America is bad at fucking around with other people's shit. And then we have the gall to turn around and say that because of some fucking memes or whatever, that, oh, they did it good, and now we're going to be bad, right? Like, fuck you. Like, get the fuck out of here. We own culture, right? Like, the world's culture is American, like, by default. There's a McDonald's in every country. Fuck you, right? Like, it's like, that's bullshit. And that brings me to the next, by the transitive property. The other take that I keep seeing is that Zelensky is fucking crazy for encouraging Ukrainians to fight this any longer, right? Like, that the fact that it's gone on for this long is like, it's like, okay, you know, you guys proved that Russia couldn't do it as fast as they thought they could. Yeah. And like, bully for you. But weapons are just flowing into Ukraine. There is no unchecked amount of guns, and fucking RPGs are just fucking like, you know, javelin missiles. They're just flooded. I used to think, before any of this started, that Ukraine was pretty filled with Nazis. Now, I have since been corrected. They're not filled with Nazis, but there are Nazis there. Yes. And whoopsie fucking daisy if a lot of those weapons get into the hands of the Nazi parts of Ukraine.
Right.
And because from what I've gathered, and I can't remember because this was years ago and shit, and so I don't, but the breakaway republics have been being fought internally. Like the Donbass has been being shelled by the other Ukrainians. It's been a Ukrainian civil war, from what I can tell, that where one side is more funded by Russia and the other side is more funded by whoever, right? The other, everyone else, right?
Yeah.
And so with that being the case, as the president of Ukraine, and as an armchair president myself, like, dude, stop, like, stop, because nothing good is going to come from a bunch of random rocket propelled grenades just hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to come to anything good.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, Ukraine has every right to resist. It's not, like, I totally get that aspect of it. I totally get that, like, if fucking we invaded Canada and said Canada is part of the United States now, Canada would rightfully be like, fuck you, right? For a little while until we beat them, right? Like, it's like yeah. I get that so if it's a show of strength, if it's like a show of like defiance in the face of an imperial aggressor, fine, right? But that shit cannot go on forever, or your whole country will be reduced to rubble. I don't know how much of the country has already been reduced to rubble. Seems like from the pictures I've seen, it's a fair amount. And I would say, quit it, man. You gotta stop.